From the time Genesis was 1 month old, her mother, Esther Hernandez, knew something was wrong. She noticed the bones on the baby's head weren't forming correctly. X-rays confirmed the newborn had craniosynostosis, a birth defect that causes one or more sutures on a baby's head to close too early.
This condition is usually diagnosed first when an abnormal head shape is noticed and the skull is growing abnormally, and it can, in some conditions, restrict the growth of the brain and the skull overall.
Genesis needed surgery to relieve the pressure on her brain and allow it to grow normally.
The usual treatment of this condition is an open procedure where multiple sections of the skull are removed and reshaped and then reimplanted and secured. And the advantage of that approach is that you can reform multiple parts of the skull, not just the suture that's fused, but other secondarily affected parts. But the downside is that there's more blood loss. You have to wait till the patient is a certain age to tolerate a surgery like that. And while you're waiting during that time, you get more of these secondary effects that then require the larger treatment.
Fortunately, Genesis's family was referred to pediatric neurosurgeon Dr. Brian Bertolio, who was able to perform a newer, less invasive endoscopic procedure on Genesis at St. Alexis Medical Center when she was only 4 months old.
For Genesis, we did an endoscopic craniosynostosis surgery where we removed the suture that was fused and made a couple small modifications to the bones surrounding it endoscopically through a small incision. And she was a good candidate for this because she presented early in life, so we were able to correct the problem before some of the secondary changes occurred.
Dr. Bertolio chose a newer, less invasive procedure to treat Genesis.
This is a relatively new procedure that's been developed over the last 10 years or so, and with the support of Alexian Brothers and acquisition of equipment, we've been able to begin offering this to patients. The helmet is used after the procedure because the procedure is done very early in life while the child's head is still growing, and that helmet ensures that the gains we've made are preserved or even improved upon over time.
Dr. Bertolio approached the Alexian Brothers Foundation for assistance.
When I saw Genesis was a candidate for this procedure, I was very hopeful that she could have the minimally invasive procedure done, but I knew a limitation was the cost of the helmet.
The first time the Alexian Brothers Foundation first became aware of Genesis' issues with her health is when Dr. Bertolio approached the staff at Alexian Brothers Foundation at a donor event, actually. He was curious about which resources were available for families like Genesis. The Alexian Brothers Foundation responded very positively to Dr. Bertolio's request. We were thrilled to be able to help a little girl like Genesis so that she would be able to get better. But I want to make a clear point that it's not the foundation who purchased the helmet. It was philanthropic dollars. It was individuals and corporations who made gifts to the Neurosciences Department, the Neurosciences Institute, so that we are able to help people like Genesis.
The Alexian Brothers Foundation supports the brothers in their healing mission.
Every single day, the Alexian Brothers Foundation, our goal is to raise awareness and funds for all the mission-critical programs and services that the Alexian Brothers stand for. We are standing on their shoulders of 800 years of caring for the poor, the elderly, the dying, the mentally ill, and every philanthropic dollar that goes to help these programs, we're helping an individual. We are making an impact. We're getting a homeless person off the street, getting them into housing. We are helping somebody in our new hospice residence die with dignity and grace.
For me to have found Saint Alexius might be the greatest thing to have happened because my daughter got better. I give thanks, many thanks to the hospital because everyone treated my daughter and me very well. And especially because she was able to overcome her situation. I give thanks to the doctors for everything and to Saint Alexius.
You know how they always say a picture is worth 1,000 words? Well, all you have to do is pick up the 2012 annual review and read the story about Genesis and look at that sweet baby laughing with sitting on her mother's lap and Esther's smile, and you know that your donor dollars are at work.